Back with me is former New Jersey governor and Republican presidential candidate Chris Christie. So, Governor, Donald Trump is already openly complaining about the gag order and Judge Chutkan. I want to take a listen. You've probably seen this, but everybody may not have, to what Trump said just a couple of hours ago.
A judge gave a gag order today. Did you hear that on speech? Which I believe is totally unconstitutional, what she did. A judge gave a gag order. A judge doesn't like me too much. Her whole life is not liking me.
I think us non-lawyers are trying to evaluate what violates the gag order and what doesn't. I mean, did he already violate the gag order by complaining about Judge Chutkan? What's your view on that?
He probably didn't violate the gag order, but look, he will. I mean, that's we know, Jen. He will. And the fact is that this is the problem with having a Republican candidate for president who is under indictment in 4 different jurisdictions. These kind of things happen to defendants all the time. Gag orders are often put in place. I was a U.S. attorney for 7 years, and we saw this happen any number of times. You're not allowed to do this. And because he's running for president, he thinks somehow the law does not apply to him. It does. And so the fact is that I think that appears to be, I didn't see the whole order, but it appears to be a pretty narrowly tailored order that tries to prevent him from polluting a jury pool against certain witnesses and against the government. He gets to say it's a politically motivated prosecution, if that's what he wants to say. But he doesn't get to attack individuals, which is his, stock in trade. So I think he came close to the line on that one in saying she doesn't like me and that she has a history of not liking me. My guess is it's not going to take that. If she's going to call him on it, it's going to take something much more direct. But look, this is the awful temperament of the guy who is currently the front runner for the nomination of my party. And that's why I'm out here calling him out directly on this stuff, Jen, because his conduct is beneath the office that he was privileged to hold.
Do you think, one, you said it was narrow, it did read as narrow, should it have been wider? And what do you think? She mentioned sanctions. What do you think those look like? What should they look like?
Look, typically sanctions in those kind of cases can be pretty broad in terms of financial fines and other penalties for violating an order of the court. But look, this is a different situation, Jen, because he is running for president of the United States. So I think it should have been narrowly tailored because he still has the right to go after the office that he's seeking. And there's nothing that legally prevents him from doing so. But, I don't think that in the end, his argument about the Constitution carries much water. This stuff happens all the time. And by the way, this is a guy who said it would be okay to suspend the Constitution if you thought that an election were not going your way. So I don't think anyone should really, lean on Donald Trump too much for constitutional interpretation.
You mentioned this already. I mean, he is the leading candidate, far and away the Republican frontrunner. What do you think that says about the party right now? That this is a guy who's making threats, he's attacking the president, the prime minister of Israel, and he's still far and away the frontrunner in the Republican primary.
Well, look, what I think it shows, Jen, and you know this from being involved in this business, he's the incumbent. He's won the nomination twice. Most Republicans think about him more than they think about the rest of us. That's our job over the next 3 or 4 months, is to start to, go after that. And what you need to do, Jen, as a candidate, is have your views and your thoughts out there as clearly and directly as possible. You saw today that the super PAC that supports our candidacy put out a very direct ad with me calling Donald Trump a fool and unfit for office. You saw Ron DeSantis' super PAC put out an ad today where he's implying bad things about Trump, but they won't even say his name. That's not leadership. That's cowardice. And, fact is, if we want to have a race where you can actually beat the front runner, you have to actually run against the front runner. And you've seen the RNC trying to restrict argument and debate. Vivek Ramaswamy and I were going to have a conversation on another network for 45 minutes. And the RNC told us if we did it, we'd be kept off the debate stage because Trump doesn't want these arguments on the debate stage. He doesn't want them broadly given. That's why, for folks out there who care about this and want Trump taken on directly, make sure they keep me on the debate stage. Go to chrischristie.com, donate $1. You'll keep me on the debate stage, and I'll be there to confront him when he does show up, and he will.
All right. Well, before I let you go, I wanted to ask you about what's happening in the House right now or this week, because House Republicans, you said they need to quit arguing and pick a speaker. It's obviously holding back aid to Israel, holding back aid to Ukraine. Right now, Jim Jordan is their candidate. He's a close Trump ally. He's someone who actively worked to overturn the 2020 election results. I mean, would you support him becoming the speaker?
Jen, I was a governor, as you know, for 2 terms in New Jersey. And one of the things I learned quite painfully is that people who want to be an executive shouldn't get involved in legislative leadership races. It almost always leads to bad things and winds up the person that you support winds up not getting it, and the person you oppose winds up doing it. Let me just say this. It has been too long already without a speaker. Pick someone that they have confidence in that will lead the House on the Republican side and get to the hard work that needs to be done supporting Israel and supporting Ukraine in the conflicts against our adversaries, China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. And we need to do that, support our friends in Ukraine and Israel, get a speaker, let's get it done, and let's move on. Stop the childhood games, the classroom games. It's embarrassing.
So even if it's Jim Jordan, not a rousing endorsement, but you're going to let them decide.
They get elected to decide, Jen. I don't get a vote on speaker. I'm running for president of the United States.
Governor Chris Christie, thank you for your time this evening.